Hey y'all. I have waited so long to make this video. It has been a long time coming. If you are watching this, then you know that we have announced that we are pregnant with a sweet little baby. And you're just here because I said I was going to make a video about how I found out, what I've been feeling, what's been going on. Little backstory. If you don't know our story completely, or you know bits and pieces of it, you can go back and watch my other videos. Today is December 9th, and I am 5 weeks and 1 day. I was 5 weeks yesterday, and I went for my intake appointment yesterday. I found out super early because of my previous miscarriages, I track everything very, very closely. I had an inkling that I was pregnant the week of Thanksgiving. I was having a couple of symptoms. Some symptoms that you have around implantation are the same as period symptoms, like your period's gonna come. I watch everything very closely, and I record everything in my calendar just because I want to know if, obviously we do get pregnant, I want to know what I was feeling at that time. I knew when my ovulation was because of this little device that my wonderful friend Jenny gave to me. It's called Mira. I will put a link in the description below if you want to check it out and see what it's all about. But it is a little device. You pee on these sticks and you put the sticks into this device, and it will tell you your LH and your estrogen levels, which can help narrow down your fertile window a little bit better. And then they also have sticks that will check your progesterone just to confirm that you did ovulate, because after you ovulate your body produces progesterone, and that was my issue, is I didn't ovulate, so my body didn't produce progesterone. If you would like to check it out, it is a really, really, really cool device. I'm so glad that we had it, and I cannot thank Jenny enough. So Jenny, big shout out to you for that. But I made that video because I was feeling certain things, and I just wanted to document it because I've tried to document everything, and I'm so sorry that I haven't shown anything, but we've tried to keep it as secret as possible. Of course, some of our family knows and everything, and then all of you guys know now, but I didn't want to make videos going ahead and telling everybody until obviously we knew for sure, or until everything was okay. I mean, even right now I'm only 5 weeks and 1 day, which yes is early. Also, and everybody will know by the time this is out, my brother and his new wife are also expecting a baby this year in June. I definitely did not want to say anything about our baby until they announced their baby, just out of respect for my brother and my sister-in-law. Thanksgiving week, I was at work that Wednesday, and I just got this huge wave of nausea. I mean, I fought it so hard, but I was like, I've got to go. I've got to go to the bathroom, and I have got to puke my guts out. So I did. And once I did, I felt so much better. Then I was like, okay, this is not a normal pre-period symptom for me, because again, I keep track of everything. I keep track on my app. I keep track in my calendar. I keep track of everything. So I knew this wasn't normal, and I was like, okay, maybe it's just something I've ate within the last couple of days. But I threw up the one time, and then I felt fine. So then Thanksgiving, I felt fine. That Friday after Thanksgiving, I felt fine. That Saturday morning, I woke up, and at that point, on Thanksgiving, I was 8 DPO, or days past ovulation. And then that Saturday, I was 10 DPO. 8 DPO, I had a super faint line. I have the little strips from Mom Med, and then I have Clear Blue like the line test, and then I had digital ones too because I stocked up a long time ago. So I did one of the little mom meds first, and I was like, okay, we'll just see. I'm not going to take another one. I'm not going to do any of the other ones. I'm just going to take a mom med. And I did, and again, it was super, super, super faint. And then I was asked Matt, I was like, do you see it? And he was like, no. And I was like, okay. I was like, probably my mind's just playing tricks on me. My mind's just going crazy because I want it so bad. So then Saturday morning, I was 10 DPO, and I took another mom med, little strip, and I did the clear blue line test where it just comes up a plus sign if you are pregnant. And that one, again, was super faint. Like, it was barely even the line. So I thought, okay, it's probably just an indent, or it's just like the dye's not great in it. And then the mom med was, I could see it a little bit better, but it was still very, 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 very faint. So again, I was like, it's probably just an indent or some crazy thing. When I got that, I was like, okay, I'll test in 2 days. If you don't know, the HCG, which is the hormone that is produced when you become pregnant, it doubles, or is supposed to double, the numbers, the level in your blood, in your system, whatever, is supposed to double every 2 days, every 48 hours. So I was 10 DPO on that Saturday. I said, you know what, I'm not going to take another test, wink wink, until Monday. So yeah, I tested again. So I took it on 8 DPO. I actually took 2 on 10 DPO, one in the morning and then one in the afternoon. I took one that Sunday, which was 11 DPO, and you could see it getting darker. And then 12 DPO was definitely darker than 10 DPO. So I was like, okay, girl, it's here. You are pregnant. At 12 DPO, which was November the 28th, that morning I called my doctor's office and I said, hey, I'm a patient of Dr. So-and-so. Here's my date of birth. I've had 2 previous miscarriages. I'm pregnant again. I've gotten 2 to 3 positive tests at home. I need to come in and have my HCG tested, because our plan was, after the last miscarriage last year, the plan was when I became pregnant again, I was to come in and have my HCG tested and my progesterone level tested. I went on November 28th and I had my HCG done and my progesterone. Okay, so I had my HCG done on November 28th and it was 41.47. That was amazing. I was very happy with that number, but at that point it didn't mean anything because I would have to have it tested again 2 days later to make sure that that number had at least doubled. Also that day they tested my progesterone. At my 21-day progesterone blood test, that I would do every single month, it was 11.17, which is not as high as it has been in the past, but that doesn't really matter. As long as it's above 10, that meant that I ovulated. So I knew that I had ovulated at my 21-day progesterone blood test, but I had it checked again the same day I had my first HCG tested, and it was 14.77. So that was great. It had gone up. And once you become pregnant, once your baby implants into your uterus, then your body continues to produce progesterone. So that was on Monday the 28th. The next day I got a phone call, or not a phone call, I got an email that my progesterone was great, wanted me to come back the next, 2 days after doing the HCG or the next day and test it again to make sure that my levels were doubling the way that they were supposed to. And at that point I asked for progesterone suppositories. I wanted to make sure that we were doing everything possible to prevent another one. He did not suggest it, but he did say if I wanted it that he would prescribe it. So I emailed the nurse back and I said, yes, I want it. And so I got it that night, and I have to do the suppository. Sorry if that's TMI. Whoever's watching this, terribly sorry. But I try to be as honest and open and transparent with you guys as possible, and I'm not gonna shy away from that. So I do that every single night. Then I went back on Wednesday, the 30th. We wanted HCG to at least double. So it was 41.47. I go with 41. So we wanted at least 82 or higher. When I got the results that night, it was 97.09. So it had more than doubled, just a little bit. And they did not check my progesterone at that time, which was fine because I was taking the suppositories, so I knew that, you know, it was doing what it needed to be doing in there. Then, so that was 97. And so we wanted it at least 194 on Friday. And I was sitting at dinner for a friend's birthday, and I got the test result, and I wasn't going to look at it because it was her birthday dinner, but I can't stop myself. So I looked at it, and it was 264.70. I was so excited. I was so happy. And Matt was at work. He wasn't at the birthday party with me. But I texted him, and it took a while for him to get back to me. But he was like, "That's awesome, babe. I'm so happy." And it was just confirmation that things were moving in the right direction so far. So on Friday, I got the results, and I was very happy. On Monday, I emailed and I asked, you know, does he want me to come in for another HCG test, or would he like me to schedule my intake appointment? And I got an email back from the nurse, and it said, schedule your intake appointment. So I went yesterday, did the intake appointment, and at the intake appointment, it's just going over your like health history, the medicines that you're on, any gyno history, and then some of my husband's history, like family things. Go over the genetics testing that they can do, the blood work, and scheduling my first ultrasound, and going over a payment plan. That's basically it for the intake appointment. And then they do blood work too. So that's what they did, and then they scheduled my ultrasound. I had the option of doing an ultrasound on December the 21st, which is the week of Christmas, or January 5th. And because I would only be right at 7 weeks, I would be 6 weeks and 6 days, I prefer to wait. I preferred to wait until January 5th. One, because Matt would not be able to go to that appointment with me, and I really want him there. Because, you know, as long as things are good and keep going the way that they're supposed to, then we're going to hear our baby's heartbeat. We're going to see our baby. And I want him to be able to experience that with me. So I asked, could we take the January 5th date, because he will be off work. And at that point, January 5th, I will be exactly 9 weeks, according to my last menstrual cycle, the first day of my last menstrual cycle. As of right now, I have waves of nausea. My nausea normally hit, like, I'll have a little bit in the morning, maybe when I'm in the shower, and then I will have some really, really bad in the afternoon. Thank the Lord, I have only thrown up once at work. Other than sore ladies, I don't really have any symptoms, which is great so far. But again, I'm only 5 weeks in 1 day. Matt and I are excited. I hope and I pray 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 that this baby will continue to grow, and this baby will continue to develop, and that this baby will be our baby. I pray that our baby's healthy. I pray that our baby, like I said, is growing like it's supposed to. And I'm thankful for the time that I do have with it. I am hopeful this time, because I have a good feeling this time. Again, based on the numbers of my HCG, things are looking so good this time, and I'm so thankful for that. And my progesterone, I'm still taking the medicine, the suppositories. Like I said, I'm doing that every single night. You know, I feel like they are doing what they are supposed to do, and I'm feeling good about this one. I don't know. It's just it's gonna be great. I recorded the last video in December and it is now January 31st. We went for our first ultrasound on Thursday, January 5th, and I was 9 weeks that day. And it was very exciting. Matt was with me, so we got to enjoy the moment together. And we saw our baby. We heard our baby's heartbeat. And we both cried. I laid there. Matt's holding my hand. We're looking at the screen. And we are both bawling. Just tears flowing. And I believe I did like the loud cry. Like, I'm pretty sure people heard me crying. I was 9 weeks that day, and baby, which we have nicknamed Button, measured 9 weeks in 1 day and had a very strong heartbeat at 181. So we were very happy about that. It was just a sweet, wonderful moment for the both of us, and something I know I'm not going to forget ever. After the ultrasound, we got our little pictures, and then I had an exam by my doctor because that's normal. And then on January 13th, we announced it to Facebook, Instagram, all of that. But before that, that Saturday after our first appointment, I have been waiting and waiting and waiting for years to tell my daddy, and so I got to do that this Saturday after our first ultrasound, and it was very sweet, and I will share the video. Before I share the video, my daddy did, of course he cried, and then I stopped recording. So you don't get to see the last part of the present because I had 3 presents in the box to give him, but I will also share a photo, which most of you have seen. But that is how I told my daddy.
I need to let y'all know that my daddy, from the time Matt and I have been married, he calls my child BLT because he thinks that those initials are hilarious, so I got him an ornament that says BLT.
Aww. No, that is cute. What was painted on there?
And then on January 20th, I went for a checkup. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but last April, I went for my annual wellness check at my regular doctor's office. And for a couple of years, my A1C has been borderline, not borderline, but pre-diabetic. Both of my parents are diabetics. And my doctor has been watching my A1C for about 3 or 4 years. So last April I went, and it was, I think it was 8.1 is what my A1C was. And if you know A1C numbers or you're a diabetic, you know that that's not super great. So I was put on metformin, and I would just take it every single morning. So in April it was 8.0. And then when I went in July, it was 7.2. And then I went again October 7th, and it was 6.8. So it had come down a lot just from April to October doing the metformin, taking the metformin, and kind of watching what I ate, drinking more water, but I wasn't like, you know, perfect with it. And so that was October. I found out that I was pregnant in November, and so, but my OB wanted to check it when I got pregnant, and so that was done on January 5th, and it was 6.4. And then also with that, my average glucose levels have come down as well. I was scheduled to go to my doctor. We went January 5th, and then he wanted to see me again on January 20th because he wanted me to be checking my sugars 4 times a day, really looking at my fasting, which is in the morning after I wake up. Wanted me to be looking at that. So he saw me 2 weeks after because he wanted to look at those, see how I was doing. When my doctor diagnosed me with diabetes last year, I started doing the diabetes classes. I had one and then I had another, but then my last one was last week in January. My OB said, hey, call them, let them know, because he said, I want you to take the diabetes classes. And I said, well, I already have been, and I have one more. Do you want me to retake them? And he said, no. He said, just call them, tell them that you're pregnant, give them a heads up, see if there's anything else that you need to change, blah, blah, blah. So I called and left a message. They called me back. The nurse that was on the phone, she said, I'm looking at your MyChart. She said, because I sent a chart to my doctor a week after my first appointment. So that was like the 13th, I guess. Yeah, the 13th of January, just showing him my sugars when I checked them 4 times a day. He said, these are looking great, still want to see you next week. So I told him that, and then when the nurse called me back, she said, I looked at the chart that you sent your doctor. She said, it's looking great. She said, keep working, keep doing what you're doing. She did warn me that in my 3rd trimester, it is possible that I will have to take insulin, because if you don't know this, I'm all about the education. Pregnancy increases your blood sugar. So she said there is a possibility that you will have to take insulin during your 3rd trimester. And I was like, that's fine. I'll do what I have to do. She said, but you're looking great. She said, we will see you on Monday, because my last class was the following Monday. And then that was it. So not really much change. It's just you have to be more active. Obviously make sure you're drinking your water, and then watching your diet, which I was already kind of doing. But from the time that I got pregnant and had my first intake appointment to now, well, I guess last week when I went, I've lost 15 pounds, 15-ish. I'm very proud of myself. So there we go. There's that little extra stuff for you, so you know what's going on with me. When I went on the 20th and talked to my doctor and all of that, they did do an ultrasound, just an in room when they have a portable one that they bring around. So they did that. Button looked great. The heart rate was 158, and this child was flipping and moving and not hopping, but like just extending its arms and legs. I mean, I saw it on the screen and I was like, that's what it's doing in there? I mean, I couldn't feel anything, obviously, but just watching it, I was like, that thing's moving. So that was really cool to see. And Matt didn't go with me because I thought this was just an appointment to check my sugars. I didn't know that they were going to do that, which I was actually kind of glad that they did, because I got extra pictures. And we got to check the heart rate. So I was very, very happy about that. One thing I wanted to share with you guys is that ever since I found out that I was pregnant and I went for my first HCG test, which was on a Monday, I did request progesterone suppositories. And I got those. I went to the doctor on Monday for my HCG and progesterone check, blood draw. And then Tuesday I picked up the prescription and I started taking the progesterone suppositories that night. So I have taken them every single day since November 29th. And I was 12 weeks last Thursday on the 26th of January, and my last night to take them was Friday. I did a lot of research. I researched everything I could possibly research, talked to my doctor. After you become pregnant and an egg is fertilized, your ovaries are producing progesterone. And since my body did not naturally produce it, which is why I was having to take the letrozole, I wanted to make sure that I was doing everything possible to keep this pregnancy. Between 8 to 10, 9 to 10 weeks, the placenta takes over the production of the progesterone. So I started taking the progesterone. I hit 10 weeks 2.5 weeks ago, and 12 weeks last Thursday, and so far so good. And I go next Tuesday for my checkup. But I feel fine. I feel great. Prayers that everything is fine. On the topic of how am I feeling, some people have asked, how have you been feeling? How have you been feeling? Are you feeling okay? How have you been feeling? And I'm going to be completely honest with you, and I know some of you are going to be like, Lacey, I hate you. This first trimester has been fantastic. I'm not even going to lie. It has been wonderful. I do not mean that in a sarcastic way. I mean that in a very truthful way. In the beginning, the first couple of weeks, I had really bad nausea. I have not had really any fatigue as far as, okay, I'm home from work, I need to take a nap. None of that has happened. I would get sleepy or tired about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but at work I would just get up, walk around the office, maybe go to the restroom, walk around a couple more laps, and then sit back down, and I was usually okay. My ladies have been very sore. It's been like an off and on sore kind of thing. It hasn't been horrible. It's gotten, I will say, the past week and a half, it has gotten worse. I have clearer skin now that I'm pregnant than I ever had before. I really didn't have a lot of acne before, but I would get breakouts. I mean, I would be perfectly fine in the morning, and then by the afternoon, I would have little bumps around my nose, around my chin, stuff like that. I've not had those. It has been very, 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 very minimal. In the beginning, I did have a few cramps the first couple weeks. I do have what I've learned is round ligament pain when I sneeze or cough or laugh. I will get a sharp pain in my lower body. I have felt awesome. I felt great. So today is January 31st. Friday the 27th, I went for the genetic testing, which they check for, they do a blood draw and they check for the chromosomal deficiencies or chromosomal defects, stuff like that. And they also can tell you the gender of your baby. We are so excited because we cannot wait to share with people what our baby's going to be. It is, we will be happy either way. We just want our baby here. We just want Button in our arms, and that's all that we can ask and pray for. I did do a lot of old wives' tales to see what the gender would be, like the ring test. There's a urine and baking soda test, the Chinese calendar, the Mayan calendar, a whole bunch of those. And I really did do a bunch of them. And so for boy, we had 12, and then for girl, we had 6. I asked on Instagram and Facebook for people to send me questions while I was making this video, or before I was making this video, if you had any questions for me about this pregnancy or whatever. And I got a question, and it was, what has been your favorite part of pregnancy so far? And I have 2 things. The first one definitely is hearing our baby's heartbeat. That has been my most favorite thing, and I've got to hear it twice. It is just the sweetest sound that I can think of right now, because we've suffered 2 losses and we never got that far in my previous pregnancies. That was such a blessing, and like I said, such a such a wonderful moment that we are going to cherish forever. And the second is just having a great first trimester, because I have seen and heard of so many women having horrible first trimesters. They're miserable, they can't keep anything down. I don't really have anything else. Our due date is August 10th, and that makes me very happy because that is the day that Matt proposed. I don't know if our baby will be born on August the 10th, but that is our due date. We do have names picked out for Button, and we will find out in about a week and a half. I did my blood work on Friday, and it takes about 2 weeks. We may know before then, but nobody's going to know. We are going to know. We are going to look at the results together because Matt and I want to share that moment together, just the two of us. And then we're having a party for our family and our friends to share that with everybody. So we will know, and it will be a surprise for everybody else. And of course, I will have that recorded so I can share that with you guys. I think that's it. We are so excited. We are enjoying every single second of this, and our baby is doing wonderful. I go the 7th of February for a checkup and just to see how Button's doing. And I don't know if I'm going every 2 weeks because of my diabetes or what. I'm not considered, as far as right now, I'm not considered high risk, and I'm not considered a geriatric pregnancy because I turned 35 after the baby is due, so I was not considered a geriatric pregnancy. But I don't know if this is just a precaution, and maybe the appointments will be spaced out. If that changes, I can update and let people know. We are just so excited to have made it this far in this pregnancy, and we cannot wait to hold our baby in our arms. And I'm so happy that we can share this with you guys, that I can share this with you guys, and I just thank you so much, and I love you, and I'll see you next time.